If your default setting is to say yes to everything, causing you to constantly compromise your own needs and sanity, welcome aboard. You are in the right place today. We've always been taught since we were little kids that being nice is what we should do because it is a virtue. However, while being friendly and kind are essential to building healthy relationships, overdoing it can be harmful and can even make you sick. According to Psychology Today, studies have shown that people who have trouble setting healthy boundaries are more likely to experience stress, depression, and anxiety. For me, it took me a very long time, actually many years, like decades, to finally realize that being too nice could backfire. So I learned to create boundaries, to prioritize myself, and protect my inner peace. This video today is divided into two parts. In part 1, I'll share the reasons why being too nice can be detrimental to your overall well-being. And in part 2, I will give you some practical tips on how to establish healthy boundaries, which is a valuable skill that can help you enrich your relationships and live a happier life. Before we dive in, I want to add a disclaimer that I am not a counselor, therapist, or psychologist. So what I share in this video is based on my own experiences, my perspectives, and my own research. Let's dive in. Part 1. Why being too nice can make you ill. Being endlessly selfless can have a number of harmful effects on your well-being. Number 1. Burnout. If you find yourself often saying yes to others, even when it is not in your best interest, it can lead to the feeling of exhaustion and eventual burnout because you're constantly making an effort to do things for other people while putting yourself last. After a sustained period, this imbalance will add up and the stress will bubble to the surface. You start to feel tired all the time, and if you ignore this red flag, you can slowly burn out until you have no more energy for yourself and nothing left to give. Number 2, resentment. In addition to the internal exhaustion and burnout, you might also start projecting outwards the consequences of your constant self-neglect. Do you notice the resentment that starts to creep up on you, often directing right back at the people you're doing those things for? This is because your constant efforts to avoid conflicts or prevent rejection or your desire to please also mean that you are suppressing your own emotions, your own needs, and often unresolved issues. You are trading other people's happiness for your own, which is hardly healthy and certainly not sustainable. Number 3, loss of respect and opportunities. Another issue with being too nice is that it can make you come across as weak and unassertive. Because it is human nature to take advantage of the weak, so you might notice that some people either don't take you seriously or they will start to take advantage because they know you won't stand up for yourself. You have now become a magnet, attracting people's mean comments, bad moods, judgmental remarks, aggression, and also unfair behaviors. Research has shown that people who are perceived as being too agreeable or passive are less likely to be promoted at work, less likely to be respected by their friends and family, and may even be at a higher risk of being bullied. In fact, in 2011, a study done by the University of Notre Dame shared that employees displaying traits like being kind, considerate, and warm earned significantly less than disagreeable ones. Specifically, agreeable male employees earned 18% less than disagreeable ones, while agreeable women earned 5% less than disagreeable women. This is because employees who are too agreeable can often be easily manipulated. Unfortunately, they also tend to be the pushovers within an organization, a social group, or within a family. As you can see, the negative effects of being endlessly selfless, whether it's you feeling burnout, resentful, or losing respect from others, they all feed on each other, and it can become a vicious cycle that can erode your health and overall well-being. Fortunately, there are ways to overcome this unhealthy trait. Based on my own experiences, I have summarized 4 practical steps that you can take to safeguard your mental health and happiness. Part 2. Set personal boundaries. 1. Recognize the problem. First, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room, your excessive niceness. Recognize that this is a problem because it is very hard for you to change any behaviors unless you agree that they are problems and that you want to be helped. So take your time to reflect on your past experiences, on how you being too accommodating has been unhealthy for you. Then, acknowledge that you also matter and give yourself the permission to prioritize your own needs. Lastly, commit yourself to take action and make a change, one small step at a time. I know these may all sound overly simple, but you would be surprised to find out that many people around you with this excessive niceness trait either aren't aware of it at all, or they don't see it as a problem, or they know it is a problem but continue to self-sabotage themselves for one reason or another, or they simply fail to take any action and take charge of their own happiness. Number 2, identify your priorities. This is critical because you have to be clear about your values and needs before you can have a clear idea of where you want to establish your boundaries. Start by making a list of what you find important. For example, this might include things like wellness, creativity, personal growth, family, helping others, religion, wealth, etc. Let's do that together now. So let's take out a piece of paper or your phone or just open a new document on your computer. Jot down whatever comes to your mind first, and we can narrow these down and prioritize them later together. Pause this video and take your time. Okay, are you done? Or are you a bit stuck? If you're not sure about what to put down, reflect on your past experiences and think about the times when you feel fulfilled and in alignment with your values and needs. What were the common factors in these experiences? And what did you learn about yourself from these experiences? For example, you might remember that the last promotion at work made you happy because you felt accomplished, validated, and secure. This means that professional achievement and financial stability are priorities for you. Or you might remember how much you enjoy spending time with your family because you feel appreciated, supported, and that you belong. This means relationships, connection, and acceptance are important to you, so you get the gist. Write all these down, and it's okay if you have a long list. Now, take your time to narrow these down to a short list of no more than 5 to 10. You can stay focused on the priorities that mean the most to you. Pause this video and give it some thought. You're done? Great! Let's say, for example, you might have narrowed down your list to 5 priorities: career, family, well-being, personal growth, and helping others. To figure out where you want to draw your boundaries, you need to dig deeper and further ask yourself, what if achieving one of these requires you to compromise or even sacrifice another item on this same list? What are you comfortable or not comfortable with? Can you identify any deal breakers? For example, you are invited to a dinner where you can rub elbows with your company's decision makers who can make or break your career. But it is also your grandmother's birthday celebration dinner. So how will you prioritize when you need to choose between career and family? Where is your boundary? I realize that this can be a very hard decision to make.
Maybe not so much of a good example, but you get my point.
Another example, your best friend calls you in the middle of the night to talk about his or her issues, but you also need to wake up early to attend to the kids in the morning with a big presentation at work right after that. Where do you draw the line with helping others, family, and career? These form your boundaries and will become the internal compass that you want to regularly reconnect with and realign yourself with. When making a decision, ask yourself if these priorities are being honored. One thing to highlight is that while your values probably won't have major changes over the years, under normal circumstances, your needs and how you prioritize will evolve in different phases of your life. For example, if you never valued fame or power, it is unlikely that these will suddenly become important to you. And in terms of needs, if professional achievement and family are very important to you, they will likely remain so. But you might put professional achievement higher up in your list in your 20s and 30s, and once you start a family with kids, you might prioritize family being more important. 3. Communicate your priorities. Now that you've set your personal boundaries, communicate them clearly and consistently to everyone. One of the most effective ways to do this is to say no and get comfortable with saying it enough times so you can protect your inner peace. There are many ways to do this, and I used to have a really hard time finding the right words. Below are some examples of how to say no directly but politely. Thanks for the invitation, but I have another commitment. I appreciate the opportunity, but I regrettably won't be able to take that on. I don't think I can commit to that right now. I'm afraid that doesn't fit with my schedule, so I'll have to pass this time. Thanks for thinking of me, but I can't take on more work now. I would love to be considered for other projects in the future. That sounds really interesting, but it means I won't be able to meet the other deadline. Can we perhaps talk about changing the priorities of some of my responsibilities? Remember that every yes that you say to someone else can mean a no to your own well-being. So practice the art of saying no. Once you start communicating and sticking with your new boundaries, expect some pushback from the people around you. Your limits will be challenged repeatedly just to confirm that your commitment to self-care is securely in place. It is almost like dieting. Once you decide that you eat healthy, you start seeing people eating French fries, eating fried chicken, and pizza everywhere. It is the universe testing your commitment, so hold your fort. Some of you might even feel guilty, especially in the beginning, but don't give in. Stand up for yourself and understand that the guilty feeling is a normal part of the process. Do not backpedal, be firm, and be consistent. 4. Keep a healthy distance. For those people who fail to respect your boundaries, it might be time for you to distance yourself from them and limit contact. I know this can be difficult, especially if these are people that you are supposed to be close to or need to work with every day, such as family members and colleagues. But remember this. Don't engage with people who don't respect you. If they are loving family members, your true friends, or supportive colleagues and co-workers, why would they not respect your commitment to practice better self-care? If they don't honor your boundaries, they are not on your team, so they don't deserve your time. It is as simple as that. Understand that kindness is a holistic concept. It's not just about being nice and kind to others, but it also means being kind to yourself. And sometimes, being kind and loving yourself means you need to stay away from toxic people. So do yourself a favor and decline that unnecessary work lunch, or excuse yourself to leave early. Work from home and email your boss rather than feeling obligated to meet in person every time. And don't feel guilty to decline a few family events to minimize contact with a toxic family member. According to Harvard Health and many studies, the more you practice and protect your well-defined personal boundaries, the more people will respect you and treat you as a worthy person. And this, in turn, will promote your well-being and strengthen your self-esteem. And higher self-esteem, according to Very Well Mind, offers protection from mental health conditions because it is often linked with improved coping skills, higher positivity, and resiliency that comes with affirmative self-talk. So, remember that while it is good to be nice and make the world go around, bring your personal boundaries with you and protect them. You are not being selfish, you are practicing self-care. As Buddha says, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. So start loving yourself more. It is your life, your happiness, your rules. Tell me about your experiences of being too nice and how you establish healthy boundaries. I would love to connect with you. And remember, change takes time. Check out this video where I specifically talk about how to get out of your comfort zone. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye!